Greetings, everyone. Good morning. So nice to see you all here. Not sure how many of you know me or have seen me in all of these different sessions. I'm Ruth Ellis. I am part of the team that is co-producing, as they say, this work for Teach for LA and the workshops. And we are so excited to have Bronwyn Kennedy here and Renee Marshall and Debra Keeler to share a ton of information on the PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential. This is, and it's so nice to see, I don't know, 15 people here for this because we need this, and you are in amazing hands. So unless there's any questions for me, I'm going to turn it right over to our team.
Great. Thank you so much, Ruth. Welcome, everybody. As Ruth said, we are going to talk about the PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential today. And I am Bronwyn Kennedy. I am so happy to be here and talking about this. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. I am a consultant here at the Commission on Teacher Credentialing in the Professional Services Division, and I have the absolute honor on working on projects such as the development of the PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential, the Child Development Permit, and supporting teacher preparation programs across the state, as well as other ECE initiatives. I have over 25 years of experience in the field of early childhood education, ranging from working with state preschools, private preschools, mentoring and coaching teachers and family childcare owners, as well as owning my own private preschool facility and working as a liaison in the field of early learning policy and planning. So just a little housekeeping. If you choose to record today's session on your own outside of what Teach for LA is doing, or you're using an AI bot for your own transcription purposes, those are all great. But please know that that is not actual information that's being disseminated from the commission. And if you want actual information from us, please contact us and we're happy to provide that for you. All right, let's get into it. So I'm going to go through some information today. I've got my colleagues here, Renee Marshall and Dr. Debbie Keeler. They're looking at the chat for me. I have a hard time seeing the chat when I'm sharing the screen. So I'm going to go through the information and then we'll come back to questions and answers, because a lot of times what happens is the questions you're asking are going to be answered throughout the presentation. So we'll definitely get to your questions at the end of the presentation. So be sure to keep those questions in your pocket or put them in the chat if you can't remember, you want to ask them right away and you think that maybe you won't remember them at the end of the presentation. We will get to them, and I want to make sure that all of your questions are important and we will answer them. So first and foremost, one of the questions we always get asked is, who can teach PK-3 classes in California? I've been teaching preschool for 30 years. Can I teach PK-3? So the people that can teach PK-3 in California's public schools are those that already hold a multiple subject credential, those who hold a multiple subject intern credential, if you have an emergency specialist teaching permit in early childhood education, if you're on any other short-term permit or waiver, or if you have been granted a PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential. And now we're going to go over how to get a PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential. In order to become a PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential holder, there are steps involved. So we're going to go over those. The first step is to obtain a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited institution of higher education. Once your bachelor's degree is completed, you're on the path to any credential in California. For the PK-3, there is not a CBEST or CSET testing requirement. Feel free to write that down so you remember that, because there is not a testing requirement for CBEST or CSET for the PK-3 credential. To meet the subject matter requirements for the PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential, you need to have 24 units in ECE or child development, or have a bachelor's degree in one of 9 specific majors. And we'll go over those 9 specific majors in a little bit. To be eligible for a PK-3 ECE specialist instruction credential, you must complete a teacher credentialing program. These programs are now offered at 10 institutions throughout the state. And a little bit later on, we're going to go over how to find an institution closest to you and what institutions are currently available in the state to offer those programs. A teacher credential program is imperative in becoming a credential teacher in our state. These programs teach you fundamental theory and pedagogy for being placed in a teaching program through PK-3. The likelihood of being placed in a TK classroom your first year isn't great. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. It is imperative that you know the theories and pedagogy behind the entire grade span of this credential. In a teaching credentialing program, this is where your clinical practice will be done. That's the hands-on for your classroom program. This is where your credentialing program will also be introduced to your teaching performance expectations, which will include the new literacy, math, and DEI expectations and standards. And you'll also be allowed to practice these and you'll be assessed on them. The clinical practice piece will go over in great detail. And lastly, before being issued your credential, your teaching credential, you will need to pass the teaching performance assessment. This will either be the Cal TPA, the Ed TPA, or if you're doing your program at Fresno State, this will be called the FAST. And you'll also need to pass the literacy performance assessment. This may seem like a lot, but this is the best way to prepare you to become a prepared teacher for the grade level PK-3, and you will have lots of support along the way. We promise you that. This will include mentor teachers, credential counselors, and other advisors that will make you understanding the path and what is best for your journey to become a credentialed teacher. As mentioned in the previous slide, there is no CBEST or CSET testing requirements for this credential. We're going to repeat that over and over again because we inevitably get asked all the time, where do I find out where to take the CBEST and CSET for the PK-3 credential? And you do not have to take those tests for this credential. The subject matter requirement is met through one of two ways. A bachelor degree in 9 majors, which are the following: child development, child and adolescent development, human development, early childhood education, child and family studies, early childhood studies, human development and family science, and child, adolescent, and family studies. So if you're getting a bachelor degree or already have a bachelor degree in one of those majors, you've already met the subject matter requirement for the PK-3 credential. If you have a bachelor degree in something else, the way to meet the subject matter requirement is to complete 24 units in early childhood education or child development, and those must be done in a degree applicable coursework at a regionally accredited institution of higher education.
Bronwyn, before you jump to the next slide, we often get asked, do those units have to be upper division? Can those units be lower division? So can you just talk about those 24 units just so everybody knows exactly what they can be? Thank you.
Right. You can take those 24 units anywhere. Those can be done at your community college. They can be done at your four-year university. They can be done anywhere. They will qualify wherever you do them. So they can be upper division or lower division. That does not matter, just as long as they're being done and they're being done at a regionally accredited institution. Before we dive into clinical practice and the requirements of this crucial part of getting the PK-3 credential, please remember that this part of the program is after you get your bachelor's degree and you are already enrolled in a PK-3 credential program. Please do not worry too much about clinical practice if you are not at this point of the process yet. By all means, all the things that you're doing ahead of time will count, and you can be prepared, but it is important to be thinking ahead but take one step at a time and remember all of those people that we said are going to be there to support you in this process. They will help guide you with your clinical practice and make sure that if you have equivalencies, those are being met. And if you don't have equivalencies, the way to meet your clinical practice requirements. we have seen as a team, a lot of folks come in and get really worried about meeting those clinical practice requirements before they even get a bachelor's degree. So please do not get too hung up on the clinical practice requirements until you've completed your bachelor's degree and are in a teaching credential program. But it is very important to be aware of how you can meet those clinical practice requirements and be on the path to getting this credential. So clinical practice is really important, as we've talked about, and you must have a minimum of 600 hours of clinical practice. We do have a clinical practice guide where you can look all through that. We have uploaded a copy of this presentation with the Teach for LA group, and so these are all clickable links. There is a minimum of 200 hours in PK-TK of clinical practice. 200 hours are required for K-3, and then 200 hours can be done in either PK-TK or K-3. And you may be granted credit towards those PK-TK portion with one of two options. And those are the options we're going to go through right now. The first option is the professional equivalency for clinical practice. You must have one of the following to meet these professional equivalency for clinical practice. You can have a child development permit for a teacher level or higher, be a lead teacher in a Head Start program, or be a lead teacher in a child care and development center serving preschool age children. In addition to having one of those, you must have been teaching for 6 years full time. That's 3 hours or more. And then your program can grant you 200 hours of equivalency for that. So once you're enrolled in a teaching credentialing program and you have met this, so you've met one of those teaching requirements and you've been teaching for 6 years or more full time, you may be granted 200 hours of equivalency. The second option is practicum equivalency. This must be done at a regionally accredited institution of higher education. It has to be credit bearing and degree applicable. It has to be completed in a preschool setting serving 3- and 4-year-old children, not infant and toddler. It must be supervised by a trained faculty member, and you must have a grade C or better, and that your program is going to ask for your transcripts. And the equivalency is granted with the number of practicum hours. So if you've done 100 practicum hours, you're going to get 100 hours of a clinical practice. So if you do 200 hours, you're going to get 200 hours of equivalency for clinical practice. So there is the option of getting up to 400 hours of this. Now remember, you still have to do those 200 hours in K-3 as well. Important notes for clinical practice. Something that's not on here, and I'm going to say it again. This is done during your credentialing program. So if you're still at the beginning of a bachelor's degree, just remember, keep this in your mind. So if you're taking practicum at a community college, or if you're currently working in a program as a lead teacher, being mindful of that, because that is going to be granted clinical equivalency practice once you get to your credentialing program, but do not be too worried about it yet. It's coming, but just don't be too worried about it yet. Just be mindful of it. Clinical practice is crucial. You must do it. This is where we learn about the developing needs of our PK-3 students. So all the way from PK all the way to 3rd grade. Even though if you've been working with just preschoolers, we've got to know what those 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders are doing. If you've only been working with 2nd and 3rd graders, you've got to know what those PK and kindergartners have been doing. Your program that you do your credentialing program through, they're going to help you prepare for those teaching performance assessments and get you through it. The program that you decide to do your teaching credential with, They may require more than 600 hours for your clinical practice. The commission has set a minimum of 600 hours. And you can combine those two options together. So you could get 200 work experience equivalency, and you could get 200 of the practicum equivalency, making a total of 400 hours. But you must complete those 200 hours in K-3 as well. So reminders, there's no CBEST at all. Your subject matter is met through that bachelor's degree or your 24 units of ECE or child development. So you're not taking a CSET, and you can have professional equivalency for clinical practice, or you can have practicum experience for clinical practice. We have a huge handbook on the PK-3 credential that is available on our website, and also through the presentation that you'll get a copy of. If you have any questions about that, we're more than happy to talk to you, and we'll talk more about how to get a hold of us later on in the presentation. Right now, the PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential was approved April 1st, 2024. Programs could start applying to offer that after that date. If anybody had a multiple subject credential and they met that subject matter requirement, they could start applying to have a PK-3 credential added to theirs. It is taking about 6 to 12 months for our institutions to offer the PK-3 credential right now. Sometimes it takes a little shorter, sometimes it takes a little longer. Currently, these are the programs that are offered in California that are offering the PK-3 credential programs. We have San Jose State University. They're offering a traditional student teaching and residency pathway, as well as an internship pathway. Fresno State University, offering a traditional student teaching and residency pathway. Riverside County Office of Education offers an internship pathway. San Diego County Office of Education offers an internship pathway. Vanguard University is offering a traditional student teaching and an integrated undergraduate pathway. California State University Dominguez Hills, offering a traditional student teaching pathway and an internship pathway. Biola University, traditional student teaching and an integrated undergraduate pathway. San Francisco State University, traditional student teaching, integrated undergraduate, and internship pathway. Cal State University Long Beach, traditional student teaching pathway, and they so far are only university that is offering a biliteracy authorization in either Spanish or Asian. And California State University Stanislaus is offering a traditional student teaching pathway and an internship pathway. So currently we have 10. We're hoping for more as the year progresses and be able to find out which universities offer the PK-3 credential program in real time. You would go to our website, and we'll drop that link here for you in the chat in just a moment. And you would hit PK-3 teaching, and a list of those come up. And there's a little map on the side as well that will show you where in California they're offered. And you can see, click on them, and they'll be able to tell you what pathways they offer. And that's updated in real time. So every time a credential gets approved for an institution, that gets updated on our website. So you can keep track of that if one's near to you. And it'll tell you if it's online, if they offer an internship pathway, they offer a residency program, all of the things that you're looking for. And if you're looking for a different kind of credentialing program as well, you can find that information there too. We have a lot of resources, and I'm going to take a little bit of time so that you all know how to get a hold of us. Specifically for candidate, for future teachers, on our website, we offer a California TK workforce requirements and educator pathways. This is great, showing you all the different ways that you can become a teacher and the different pathways for that. We have an excellent PK-3 ECE Specialist Instruction Credential FAQ on our website. And our roadmap to teaching on our website is a great tool showing you all the different pathways and ways to become a teacher. Again, our approved institutions and programs. That is the way to check out which institutions are offering different programs near you. We have 2 news that go out, e-news that goes out. We have our ECE news that we send out once a month or from our group. And we have our PSD news that goes out once a week from our group as well. And that has great information for everybody. We are more than happy to meet with you at any time if you have specific questions or scenarios to your situations. We have our ece@ctc.ca.gov email. Email us anytime. The 3 of us will answer your email and we'll answer any questions that you have at all. We have often met with future teachers, with faculty to talk about situations, about pathways, answer questions that you might not understand. We're happy to do that. This is confusing times, we understand, and the pathways between the permit and the credential, all of those things. We also offer our office cafe. The next one coming up is May 20th. And then we have a community circle that meets once a month as well. And the next one will be on June 2nd. If you would like to connect with our credentials team, we have their email, careerguidance@ctc.ca.gov. And you can also connect with a career counselor with them as well and talk about next steps on your pathway. And they'll review your transcripts too if you're not sure which permit to get, or if you want to apply for a credential and you're not sure which pathway to go there as well.
Bronwyn, there's a couple questions in the chat.
Yes.
Let me know when you're open for those.
I figured as much. So, all right, now I'm going to open it up for questions.
Okay, in the chat, Christy has said, I know Cal State ECE is working on getting their PK-3 credentials approved. So it looks like it might take them 6 to 12 months to get them approved per the presentation, ? I hope they can get it approved soon so we can have more options.
All right. Cal State East Bay. Yes, I'm not sure where they're at right now, Christy. But yes, that would be great. And just keep looking on our website. Also, we have committee of accreditation meetings that happen every other month. We will have one this next week in May, and then we'll have another one in June. And as programs come up for approval, they will be on our committee of accreditation website and on meetings too. And that's open to the public. Anybody can watch those. And
East Bay they're in the middle of the process, right, Bronwyn? It's not like they just started. They're mid-process.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
they have submitted a proposal, but I can't tell you like exactly where they're at in their proposal, but they have submitted a proposal.
Also, Brianna made a note of, I think, also Cal Poly Pomona. It wasn't a question, just a note. I don't remember if they've already submitted a proposal, but one of the things that's important to note is any group that is considering submitting a proposal for a PK-3 ECE specialist instruction credential, they usually have to go through a process either at their county office of ed or at their institution of higher education before they can bring it to the commission. So, we're saying it's a 6 to 12 month process from our side. I come from higher education, everybody, and if I was on my campus, it probably would have been a year to get my campus side before I even applied to the commission. So it really is, in a sense, a multi-year process. It's a complicated process, like Bronwyn said. Bronwyn, we also have a question from Tia. Is there a webinar or video about the Ed Specialist credential? Tia, just to be clear, you're specifically asking Ed Specialist and not about the ECE special education credential?
I am talking about, let me see, sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
It says education specialist instruction credential, right?
That's this one. Right. Yeah,
Okay.
that's this.
Yeah.
Did you have any specific questions, Tia?
I'm interested in getting that credential. So I was wondering, like I have my BA in child development and I have a master's teacher permit and stuff. So I was trying to see if I would qualify.
Yes. So what you would need to do is go through a teaching credential program. That would be your next step. So you're on the right path. So the next step would be a teaching credential program.
Then I'm trying to find a program.
And where are you located, Tia?
Los Angeles.
Okay, so we have a couple that have just been approved in your area. We have CSU Dominguez Hills, we have CSU Long Beach, and then we have a couple of online programs, Biola and Vanguard.
I'm looking for hopefully a hybrid or online programs because I just had a baby. So she's a
Okay,
month old. So
Riverside. Hi, Nara. I didn't see you on. Yeah, we have Riverside County Office of Education is also offering a program too.
okay, and can I find that on the CTC site?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let
Thank
me
you.
get you the website. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop that in the chat for you, so you all have it.
Also, I'm going to give a little shout out for a moment too. Dr. Nara Yun just said, come to Dominguez Hills. She actually is involved in, she's faculty on the Dominguez Hills campus. So thank you, Doctor, for being here today. We appreciate you. And it was very nice to see you earlier this week too.
And please know this is an open forum for questions. And we want everybody to leave here with some general understanding of the PK-3 specialist credential. So please, please, please ask us any questions. Please, just any question. There's not a question too big or too small. If we can't get it answered today, we will definitely get back to you.
Ruth just put one in the chat, Bronwyn. Are there any financial incentives for or aid for pursuing this specialized credential?
We do have a few grants that you could apply for, and we can drop those in the chat, but we definitely encourage everybody to look at their district offices, contact their colleges for the different financial aid opportunities that are available. I'm not sure, Renee, maybe you could answer this. I haven't looked at it lately if the Golden State grant is available anymore, if that one has ended.
I'm not 100% sure about Golden State, but I do want to mention that both Dominguez Hills and Long Beach secured private philanthropy money to support their PK-3 programs. And I don't want to, I'm not like biased towards any of the programs, everybody. I just try and share as much information I know. And with Ruth asking about the financial aspect of it, you know, I was a student who had to take out over $100,000 to go and get my degrees. I didn't have resources. And we hope that other people don't have to do that because some of us have been paying them off for like 30 years and it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. So what I'm saying though is I do know that both Long Beach and Dominguez Hills, they had some sort of specialized funding that came in a while back to get their programs up and running. So they may have additional financial resources for their students. It's also important to know that when you're looking at the different types of programs that are available, certain types of programs have some funding embedded in them. So depending on what you're looking for, if you go to a traditional program, you're going to do the traditional student teaching where you basically need to take off work to go into the classroom to volunteer for your student teaching. But if you look at some of the other models like residencies and things that are offered now, there's some kind of like blended models. It's good because there's different opportunities, but at the same time, it might make it feel like it's a little bit overwhelming. Know the people that you can talk to. You know, you've got questions. There's some great people here through Teach for LA that are absolute resources for you. And all of you have met us today from the commission. Dr. Keeler's on too. Dr. Debbie Keeler's the third member of our team. And we're here to help out because we know what it's like to become a teacher and how tricky and hard it can be. And we don't want it to be like that. If you want to be an educator, you have like cheerleaders that are literally like, what can we do to help you? Because this is an awesome field to be in, and children and families need us. They need good, compassionate, wonderful people to be stepping up to the plate. So, sorry to soapbox there for a minute, Bronwyn.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Definitely at this time, I mean, finding any funding you can get to go through college is definite. So, okay, James, currently an after-school teacher for STAR TK5. Would I be able to use those hours for hours needed? We would need to double check for that, James. It depends on the different programs that you're working on. So email us. Would you email us your exact situation so we can look at that? So I'm going to put our email in the chat.
Expanded learning is a different space. Before it used to kind of get shut out from ECE and like compartmentalized, like it's kind of part of it, but not entirely. But with the large investment that California's had over the past few years, we're really re-looking at it, the different spaces that can count for the, for the different pieces related to credentialing and permitting.
Yes. So we would want to talk to you a little bit more about that, James, and exactly what you're doing there, etc. So give us an email on that. Is a program able to count assignments in the practicum as hours, as well as the hours in the classroom with 3 and 4-year-old? And if so, how many hours? Great question, Sandra. So they actually need to be in the classroom for it to count as the practicum hours. So they would need to be with the children to count as the practicum hours.
Thank you.
Of course. These are great questions. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
It's good to see you today. I love Teach for LA because it's this really wonderful combination of like future teachers, colleagues, like faculty, higher ed, like everybody comes together to Teach for LA, which is exactly what the field of education and early childhood ed is all of us coming together to figure it out.
Sure.
So is it possible for me to elaborate a little bit on my question?
Of course.
Okay, so we're Fresno Pacific University and we're developing our pathways, and we're finding that we have a lot of candidates that are contacting us that do not have the practicum completed at the community college. Therefore, our goal is to make the practicum, hopefully with 200 hours, a prerequisite before enrolling into the credential program, due to the fact that we will have candidates coming from multiple BA sources. So I noted that it says it has to be with 3 to 4-year-olds.
Correct.
Can it not be in a TK class, or it has to be 3 to 4-year-olds?
Yes, it needs to be a 3 to 4, but it can be in a PK-TK classroom. So if they're in a PK-TK classroom, it can. Now the other 200 hours needs to be in a K through 3. So as long as they're not in kinder, so as long as it's not a blended classroom of TKK, that's where we need to be careful. So if they're in a TKK, it's not going to count. But if it's in just a TK classroom, then that will be okay.
Okay, so that answers my question.
Right.
Okay. So none of the coursework, in other words, if they, and I think you answered this, but I just want to be clear. If they do an observation with a video, none of those hours can count. It has to be with live bodies in the classroom.
Yes, it needs to be hands-on. Yeah, it needs to be an actual practicum. Yeah,
Alrighty.
hands-on.
Thank you.
Of course. Great questions. We want there to be clarity. We know that there's a lot of confusion around the credential, and we don't want that. We want everybody to have a good understanding. And so if there's any questions about what you need to do before you get your bachelor's degree, what you do after you get your bachelor's degree, I don't know what kind of credential I should get, what should I be looking for as a program, and please ask the questions, get some clarification about the clinical practice, about the teaching performance assessments, any of those things. We really want to help with clarity. So if you don't feel comfortable coming off mute, please put them in the chat. This is the time to ask them. You have the 3 of us here front and center to be able to provide that clarity today. Yes.
Oh, Brianna's got a hand.
Oh, go ahead, Renee. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I saw Brianna's hand. I was like, oh, Brianna.
Yeah,
Hi,
Brianna, go
this is
ahead.
Brianna. Right now, I'm at a community college at Rio Hondo, and one of my counselors was telling me about the program. And I have to take a couple of more classes in order to get accepted to one of the pre-K program. Is there like a certain type of math class you have to take? Because I struggle with math, and they told me that finance is okay to take. Finance 101, and then 2 history classes and a literature.
Did you already meet with your counselor for this?
Yeah.
Have they put you on an education pathway? Like, have they written it down for you where you've got it written out by semester?
Yes.
If your because your counselor is going to know what classes directly articulate with where you're looking to transfer. And there's some variation, sometimes campus by campus. So your best bet is what you've done by meeting with your counselor and creating an education plan, which is your map of what you need to do. It's like your checklist. That's the best thing you can do, Brianna, because that's going to line you up exactly at the local level for what's available in your community.
Yeah, because he was telling me in order to get accepted to any program, I need to take 3 English classes and 2 history.
That would probably be in relationship to your GE requirements that you'll need for the transfer. But
Okay.
your counselor should be able to help you. I'm gonna send you my email in case I can be of help. I know some people on your campus that may be really helpful in terms of providing some additional guidance to you. Okay, Brianna?
Thank you.
Okay, my name's Renee. I'm gonna put it in the chat to you in just a moment, okay?
Thank you, Brianna. Christy, I just saw your chat, your comment concern in the chat, and Christy's concern is that there isn't any advertisements on EdJoin right now for those that have a PK-3 credential. And so a couple of things there, Christy, is this is a brand new credential. And so far in the state of California, I think we have just under 100 people that actually have a PK-3 credential that those have been issued. And those have only been issued to those that have a multiple subject credential. We so far only have a couple of programs that are even offering a PK-3 credential because they've just been approved to start getting students into their program. So we do not have any students, new students, that have completed an entire PK-3 credentialing program. So the only ones that have PK-3 credentials are those that have added that credential onto their already authorized multiple subject credential. So it is not surprising that HR departments aren't advertising for PK-3 credential holders yet, because this isn't something that's been heavily on the market. You're going to see more of that in the coming years, probably, as more candidates go through, more future teachers go through PK-3 credential programs. However, if someone does have that PK-3 credential and they put that on their resume and they want to teach a first grade, second grade classroom, TK classroom, that's going to probably put you a little bit higher up, because they're going to say you have gone through specialized training to have this credential to teach these grades. So, but that doesn't surprise me that you haven't seen that quite yet. It's brand new and not very many people have that in California yet. I hope that answers your concern, Christy.
First new credential in many, 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 many years. So it's even new on some people's radars who are in positions of leadership.
Right, correct. James.
Sorry, it always takes me a minute to get to the mute button. So like I mentioned, I don't know if people read, but I got accepted to Dominguez Hills, and I think I heard someone was here from there, and I'm just a little bit frustrated at the moment because I'm a dad who also works part-time as the after-school teacher, and like the school's gonna be super expensive. I don't qualify for financial aid, and I'm trying to get a hold of that situation, like all the classes I have to take, and I'm told that a lot of them aren't online, so I have to like make a schedule and everything. And they just tell me, "Oh, wait till orientation, wait till orientation." But I'm like, I need to plan everything out, and I feel like I'm being, I don't know, not like stonewalled almost, because like, oh, just wait till we get this big old thing, and then I have to make all these decisions and plan this stuff out. And I've been trying to reach out to the school. I just feel like I'm not getting a lot of feedback. They got my money already to start. So I don't know. I'm just super not happy with the situation, like transitioning bikes, because I'm trying to plan, and then they're like, just wait, just do, hold on. And I'm like, that's not working for me, because I need to know like how much time I need to be at the school, if I need to change my job, what, all the things I need to do. So I don't know if you guys have any advice on that. And plus, I'm having a hard time finding like scholarships and that kind of stuff.
First of all, James, congratulations on all that you've accomplished. I really hope that you are proud of yourself and you're patting yourself on the back every single day. This is fantastic, especially as being a single dad and doing all of that. That is an accomplishment in itself.
Not a single dad, just a dad.
Okay, just a dad. Sorry, but just doesn't matter. Congratulations. This is good. This is a good thing. Second, I would just, be the squeaky wheel. Be the squeaky wheel. I would just keep talking to whoever you need to talk, and just keep making those phone calls. I know Renee has more experience with higher ed than I am, so I'm going to kind of turn it over to her to see what she has to say.
James, I just shot you my personal email and said, let's talk. Because it's tricky to navigate. And it's one of those things where you don't ever want to be disrespectful to the program, but there's a lot that you need to figure out. And then from the programmatic side and just from the higher ed side, like this is graduation month. And so everybody's shutting everything down. Their fiscal shutting down. Like they have to close, like the way the school year runs is they, their fiscal year ends in June. And so everything's closing down now. And so it's like, I know it's unfortunate that they're saying you have to wait at this point, but it's because of like the shutdown right now. But like I said, I sent you my contact information. Let's you and I talk a little bit offline because there's some ways that we can like kind of brainstorm of different ways that you can get the information you need. I think it'll be pretty simple in terms of making that connection and especially because I know like graduation and that campus is this weekend, which means they're shutting down right now, which means people will be available really soon. And so let's see if we can help get you connected sooner. We can also too, when we talk, we can share any of the links that we have for different resources potentially that you could do too, that you could potentially be eligible for financial support too. We'll share everything we've got. Times are a little bit leaner right now. Some teacher prep groups have had some of their funding removed from some of their federal funding. So that has made it trickier. But I do know that the campus you're going to, they received some private funding. So it wasn't tied to federal. But James, why don't
Okay.
you and I will talk more, okay? And then we'll
I
come up with
appreciate
some
it.
strategies. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Excited for you to be coming into the field.
Yes.
It'll be
Thank
awesome.
you. Graduating from West. Go West.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Erica, excellent question that you have in the chat. So she said, if you have the appropriate BA degree, so I'm assuming one of the 9 that we talked about, and multiple subject credential, are you still required to complete a credential program? No, that is a fantastic question. So if you already have a multiple subject credential and you've completed either one of the BA requirements, one of those 9 subject matter requirements, or if you have completed your 24 ECE or child development units, you can go apply straight on our website for the PK-3 credential. So a multiple subject credential, you already hold the multiple subject credential and you have met the subject matter requirement, you can apply straight on our website for the PK-3 credential. And you can add that credential onto your already issued credential. That is one of the reasons why we have already almost 100 PK-3 credentials authorized and issued in California. So yes, of course, Erica. So if you're one of those people, go apply, and so that you can be on that list. These questions are fantastic. They're great. Just to recap, if you don't have your bachelor's degree already, you do need to have your bachelor's degree before applying for a credential program. So you do need to have a bachelor's degree. For the PK-3 credential specifically, you need to have a bachelor's degree in one of 9 specific majors or 24 units in ECE or child development. And then you need to apply and get into a teaching credential program. There are currently 10 in the state of California. We are anticipating more by the end of the year. With that program, you're going to complete your clinical practice. You're going to learn everything that you need to know about our little PKers all the way to 3rd grade. You're going to learn about the teaching performance assessments. You're going to learn how to take the teaching performance assessments and do really well on those, including all the new assets to those. And then you're going to take the literacy performance exam. And then after that, then you're going to become a PK-3 ECE specialist instruction credentialed teacher in the state of California. So there are steps involved. We do understand that there are many out in the field that have that bachelor's degree, that have been teaching in a PK space for numerous years. But yes, you do still need to go through a teaching credential program. There are fundamentals that still need to be taught to become a credential teacher in the state of California. So you still need to do that.
Bronwyn, I just put our email again in the chat. We want to encourage everybody, please. I mean, I'm not sure if other people are like me, but I'm like, I could be in the webinar and have no questions like, oh, I totally understand it. And then all of a sudden I go to my next thing and I'm like, wait, here's 5 questions. So here's our email, everybody. Please reach out. We are available at any time. Also, this presentation is specifically focused on the PK-3 Early Childhood Education Specialist Instruction Credential. But through the commission, we also We also give out permits, child development permits that are related to early childhood education. Dr. Keeler, who's on, leads that piece of our project. And so we're happy to help you in any spaces. And if you want any information about any credentials, even if it's the credentials that we're not, in sense like running, or in charge of, we are happy to connect you with others from our agency to make sure that you get all of your questions answered. Also, if there's anybody who has a child development permit and is worried about it expiring, same thing, please reach out to us. We're here in partnership. And there's a face there, you have a name to the name, or you have names now or faces to the name of the commission. And we
Yes.
just want to make sure that you know people, and we're here to help. Also, I see Ruth's hands up.
Yes.
So first of all, thank you. All this information is so pertinent and amazing. On top of the plug for yesterday's session, which is going to get uploaded to some YouTube channel for the regional consortium. So keep an eye out for that. You'll get emails. But one question I have and one comment I think is, can you shed some light on the benefit for anybody in the room right now around finding sort of what I call, I don't want to say it like partners in crime, but mentors or individuals that could help navigate some of the pathway components of this. And as Renee, I heard you say, there's a lot of moving parts, and I don't want to make it sound like it's super complicated, because in a lot of my experiences in getting 3 credentials over the course of my career, having a mentor, having people to help guide me was vital to that success. And so I would like to just sort of open that question up around us as CCE and Grow Your Own teacher pathways and our ed pathway work. We do work very hard to do that, but we're always looking to hear more about how all the people in this room can leverage the community partnership with that mentoring component.
For sure. And I think that if you are currently working in a early learning setting, talk to those that you're mentoring you right now and see what they did to get where they're at. If you are thinking about going into this field as a PK-3 ECE specialist instruction credential teacher, go and find someone in in that early learning space. If first grade is pulling at your heart, if second grade is pulling at your heart, talk to the principals at those districts and see if you can go and sit in on those classrooms and find those teachers and really have some honest heart-to-heart questions with them about what brought them to teaching and how they like those age groups, and what are the the insightful moments for them, what are the struggles for them, and really find those times to be able to mentor with them and talk with them. I know some of my greatest mentors was my daughter's kindergarten teacher, and I still rely on her a lot for things, and learning from her. And when I had my own private center, I brought in a lot of things that I learned from her when I just sat and watched her and observed her. And so, the people around us in our community are great resources. Renee or Debbie? Oh, Renee left. Debbie, do you have anything? We lost Renee.
Yeah. Yeah, just thank you so much for just your participation today. And it's exciting to see the interest around the credential, and it's just it's a wonderful thing. So reach high and reach big.
Any other questions?
I did have one more question.
Yes, James, go for it.
Okay, I think I may have imagined this in my dreams, because I've mentioned this more than once and I don't think it exists, but there is no program where you are simultaneously getting your bachelor's and your credential at the same time, correct?
Not bachelor's degree that I know of.
Okay.
I know there's a master's in credential. I'm not sure. I would have to double back on that. I feel like at one time there might have been. Oh, Renee's back.
Thought I heard someone say that one time or another, or unless I imagined it or dreamt it in my wildest dreams that was true.
Renee might know more than I. Renee, is there a bachelor?
Sorry, I lost all tech there, so I just blipped out for like a minute, so I didn't hear anything. Sorry, everybody. Can you say that again, Bronwyn?
Is there a bachelor credential program, a dual program, bachelor's and credential program?
Absolutely. Integrated programs, ITEPs.
Okay.
You
Oh,
can
there
find
you go, yes.
ITEP programs at many of the CSUs.
Yes.
If anybody's interested in learning more about integrated programs, you can email us at our email, our ECE email, and then we can connect you. So where you can see the difference between the different types of programs that are available in California. Integrated, there's many positives towards integrated programs. There also can be some challenges related to integrated programs as well. So, but it's important for you to learn all the information about all the options and then figure out what's going to work best for you.
Thank you so much, Renee. That was me, James.
Oh, excellent, James. We can talk about it for sure. And then if there's anybody else who wants to talk about it, I'll put my email in the chat and we can absolutely connect. Happy to help.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely.
Right now, we don't have any ITEP programs for PK-3, but that doesn't mean that we won't. So it's right now we don't, but that doesn't mean anything. Just right now, the 10 that are approved are not offering an ITEP, but there's a lot of institutions in California, so stay tuned.
You can go to many integrated multiple subject programs and like we said, not PK-3 integrated at this point, at this moment, but things are moving really quickly with that. Another thing too, in terms of those integrated programs for multiple subject, you would need the 24 units of ECE on top of it then to be eligible for PK-3. But there's kind of some different pathways that you can get there, which is good to know. Also, credential for whatever you're eligible for, permit for whatever you're eligible for, and keep them all up to date at all times. Because, like, I always look at it and go, you know what? On my most hard day, I remind myself I could step back into a classroom and teach kindergarten any single day if I wanted to, because I've kept that up to date, So keep those things, keep those credentials and licensures up to date.
Yeah, so all the stuff expires, you have to keep them up to date. How do you keep them up to date? Like you pay a fee or you have to take a class or?
Yeah, you do. There's certain, depending on what we're talking about, either permits or credentials, there are requirements for when you're able to renew them. It's a 5-year cycle and there is a monetary fee associated with it. But I mean, just important to know too, if you look at other industries, it is pretty common that you have to do the licensure and re-upping your license. And sometimes their fees will be like $600 to $800. In education right now, it sits about $100, around $100. There is a possibility that fee will increase over time, but right now it's currently about that.
These are all really good questions. We're so happy that you came to the session today. If you have other questions, please do not feel any intimidation to reach out to any one of us. We're happy to meet with you. We're happy to talk one-on-one. Email us, ask the questions. If you have a specific scenario, we're happy to talk about that. Everybody has a different walk, and we understand that. The 3 of us on our team all had a different walk to get to where we are today, so we understand that. We're just excited so many are interested in this field and coming in together for our children. So we're very happy that you came here today. So please stick around and ask more questions. We're here in partnership.
Ruth also gave me the QR code to put up. So I have that on my screen if you want me to show it at some point. Okay, great. Sorry about that. And then I also just put in the chat, everybody, if you could please complete the survey related to this workshop, we would appreciate it. And there will be an opportunity drawing later today. So if you submit, okay, hopefully, can everybody see the QR code? Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay, great. If you submit into that and you do it, then, or sorry, if you do the survey, you will get submitted into the opportunity drawing. Also make sure everybody to check out the other Teach for LA sessions today. Our ECE team was talking about them earlier this morning, going like, there's some really good things. Also, closing session tonight, I believe, is 5:30 to 6:30, and that is always a really impactful and inspiring moment. So if you have the ability to be there for closing session at Teach for LA, please try to do so. There's a lot of people who work to put this conference on, and it'll be really great to hear your feedback. Your feedback helps for the groups to create things like Teach for LA and to keep them running. Also, just so everybody knows, next year marks the 10th anniversary of Teach for LA. I'm sorry, I'm extra excited because I've been excited. I have been involved in Teach from LA since year 1. So I'm so excited that it's hitting year 10 because it's a good space to be in. I don't know if everybody knows this, but many, 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 many years ago, Teach for LA actually took place on the Rio Hondo campus with hundreds of us coming together face to face. And then during the pandemic, we moved virtually, and then, it's been good since being virtual. So thanks so much, everybody. Bronwyn, thank you for your leadership with this today. And Debbie, thank you for your support today. Bronwyn, any final words as we close out for this session?
I just want to say I'm really, really excited how many of you came today and are excited about the future of our little ones. And so please don't stop. Just keep that momentum going. And please reach out if you have any questions. We're here in partnership. We don't want anybody to be intimidated about this walk, because it is a hard walk, but it is a very, very fruitful walk. So keep up the good fight, and we hope to hear from you soon. Have a good rest of your day.
Have a great afternoon, everybody. Good to see you today, Javanelle. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.